Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing my May book haul. I know that I just did a book haul for Book Expo / BookCon like a week ago, but I've been so confused between moving and not doing my March and April book hauls on time that this one is now not on time either. I am going to go through these like kind of quickly and then hopefully be back on track for my June book haul. Such is life. Anyway, here we go. So first I will show you the new releases and then I'll move on to the backlist books. So first here I have A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. This is the new novella that takes place after ACOWAR that sets up the next trilogy, although that is debatable. There's really only one chapter in here that does that, and it's like after this novella ends. But anyway, you'll hear more about that in my wrap up. I also got a finished copy of Save the Date by Morgan Matson, and I actually went to her book event at McNally Jackson. She did the launch there on the actual release date. So it was the first signed edition, so it was already signed, but then she signed it again, and it says, "To Kristen, all my best, Morgan Matson." Then I got a finished copy of The Way You Make Me Feel by Maureen Go. I loved this book so much. Again, it is one that you'll hear more about in my wrap up, but it takes place in LA and it follows a girl who is kind of a troublemaker, and then she has to work at her father's Korean Brazilian food truck over the summer in order to repay the damages for one of her pranks kind of gone awry. It was really, really enjoyable. Then I got the Target exclusive edition of 9 Days and 9 Nights by Katie Cotugno. I loved this book. This is another one that you'll hear about in a wrap up, and actually I'm feeling pretty good that so far everything I'm showing you I have already read. Go me. This is a sequel to 99 Days, and it follows Molly as she is going on a trip through Europe. It is quite short, but it was very, very, very satisfying. And once again, Katie Cotugno just writes the perfect, like, messy contemporary stories, and just love them. Then I've got Tradition by Brendan Keeley, and it follows two kids who go to a prep school, and I believe it's going to deal with some heavy topics because it says tradition is not an excuse, and the two of them are basically just trying to survive this prep school until they can go off into college. Then I have The Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman. This is a new middle grade novel, and this one I'm pretty excited about because I've really enjoyed some of Amy Kaufman's other books, so I'm curious to see what she will do with this middle grade story. It looks very wintry, and I love the cover, so looking forward to reading this one. Then I got The Lies They Tell by Gillian French. This is a young adult thriller novel, and I really enjoyed Gillian French's other novel, Grit, which actually you'll see in a second because it's also in this haul. So I decided to pick up her next book and see what this one is all about. Then I got Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book from BookTube. I believe it's nominated for some BookTube Science Fiction and Fantasy Awards. Everyone that has read it has talked about how amazing it is, so I did my best and searched and finally found a hardcover version of it because hardcovers are always so hard to find, but I did it and I'm very excited to read it very soon. And I also got the sequel to that, which is Gray Sister by Mark Lawrence. I've also got comics and graphic novels coming up, so I think I'm gonna do those toward the end. I also got this book called Snow White and Rose Red by Patricia C. Reed, and I have heard good things about this. This is like a super old fantasy book, and I was interested in it because I recently read Snow and Rose, the middle grade retelling of Snow White and Rose Red, but I've heard from numerous people that like this is the best Snow and Rose retelling of all time, so I'm curious to check it out and I can't wait to read it. Then I got the arc of Scream All Night by Derek Millman. This one I'm so excited to read. This is coming out very soon in July. Yeah, in July. And it follows a guy whose dad used to make B-horror movies, and it takes place in this like creepy castle, and I'm just so excited to read it. It sounds like everything that I will love. I also got Wildwood Dancing by Juliet Marillier. As you guys know, I have wanted to read a Juliet Marillier book for so long, and I've just been putting them off, and then I was reading this article online that said that this was a really good book of hers to start with since it's a standalone, so I was like, okay, fine, I'll pick it up and I'll do that. And I need to like hold myself to that. Then I've got The Surface Breaks by Louise O'Neill. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and I mostly bought this because it has the most beautiful cover ever, and then underneath, actually, like the back is really pretty too, but then underneath the jacket, it's mermaid scales, and I love it. I am all about the Little Mermaid retellings that are happening lately, and I can't wait to read this one. I also picked up Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. This was the winner of the National Book Award, and I've heard really good things about it from Heather over at Bookables, and I've been wanting to read Robin Benway as well, so figured I would start here. This is one of the most exciting books in my haul, but I finally got a UK hardback edition of An Ember in the Ashes, and it has the beautiful gold spine, and now my collection is complete, except that I have to get the new covers that are coming out of the UK versions of all three of the books. They look really cool, but this book has been like one that I've just been looking for so long, and I finally found it for a reasonable price, and I ordered it and it came in good condition, and I'm like really so excited to have this one in my possession. Then I got some book outlet books, the first one being The Good Girls by Sarah Shepard. First of all, I love this cover, but second of all, I have the Perfectionists book, and they just released a trailer recently for the new show that I watched, and I was like, I should definitely read that duology before I watch that show, so I was like, it's on book outlet, I'll get it. Now I have both of them and I can binge them before that series starts. I also got They All Fall Down by Roxanne St. Clair. I've just been in such a mood lately for thrillers, and this one, as you can tell, is a young adult thriller, so I'm looking forward to getting to this at some point in the future. I also picked up Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. I really liked Julie Murphy's short story in the Meet Cute anthology, and I, ever since I read that, have wanted to read more of her work, so I picked this one up, and then if I enjoy it, I will be picking up Put In very soon, which I believe came out last month. I also picked up Bad Romance by Heather Demetrios. I have liked Heather's other books that I have read, so I have been wanting to read this one, but I just haven't gotten to it yet, but again, it was on book outlet, so I was like, it's a good time to pick it up. Then I got a hardcover US edition of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I was really surprised about because this book was printed like a bajillion years ago at this point, and I don't know, I just never saw a hardcover, but I really loved this book and meant a lot to me when I was in high school, so I figured that it would be nice to have a hardcover for my collection. I also picked up I See London, I See France by Sarah Milanowski. This is a young adult travel novel, and it's a contemporary story, and I was feeling like I was in the mood for some Wanderlust kind of books after reading 9 Days and 9 Nights, so I ended up buying this one. Then I got Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. I've already read this book and I really enjoyed it. I didn't love the writing, but I really loved the message, and it meant a lot to me when I read it, and I wish that it had been around when I was in high school, but I really wanted a finished copy just because I really appreciate the message of this book. I also got The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. This book is, I can't remember, I feel like this book might take place on New Year's Eve or in an airport or something. Can't totally remember, but I remember hearing that people enjoyed it, and again, it was book outlet, so I just picked it up. I also got an arc of Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett. I know that this author has written other things, but I haven't read any of them. The publisher reached out to me and asked if I wanted this, so I read a little synopsis of it on Goodreads, and it sounded so good, so I was like, yes, please send that to me. And it was compared to Name of the Wind, which, as you know, is like my favorite book ever, so I was like, yeah, I definitely need this one. It's about a girl who is a thief just to steal this magical artifact which could just revolutionize technology, and now of course someone wants her dead, so it sounds like it's gonna be really good. Then moving on to comics and manga, I picked up Runaways Volume 1 by Rainbow Rowell. This is the first volume of Runaways. I actually read the entire run of Runaways like so many years ago, the one that Brian K. Vaughan did, which ended with a Joss Whedon volume, which was not as good as the rest of the series, sadly, but I'm excited to see what Rainbow's take is on these characters, and I'm looking forward to reading it very soon. I also got the second volume of Snot Girl by Brian Lee O'Malley. I loved the first volume of the series, and I can't wait to read the second one. It follows a fashion blogger, and it's just so funny and like full of internet jokes. Then I got Lisa Lett and the Witch's Forest by Natsuki Takaya, who is the author of Fruits Basket. I also got the official guidebook to The Ancient Magus Bride, which is one of my favorite series of all time. I got the first volume of Nameless Asterism. I got the first volume of SP Baby. I got the first volume, I actually got this more for Andrew, but I'm gonna read it too, of Ruby, the anthology manga. I also got Cutie Honey Go-Go, which I just love the colors on this cover. I got All Summer Long, which is a graphic novel by Hope Larson. I got the first volume of Himoto Umaru-chan, which I watched the anime of this and I loved it. It's this like perfect girl who goes home and turns into this and just games a whole lot, and it's very entertaining. I also got the first volume of the Persona 4 for manga. I got the first volume of Aho Girl. I got the first volume of Lead Back Camp, and I think the second volume like just came out this week, so I'm gonna have to get that one as well. And that is it. That is all the books that I got in the rest of April and May. And then, yeah, I think I already have a separate pile that is started for June, so that's cool. But yeah, those are all the books that I got. Let me know if you have read anything in this haul, if there's anything that you think that I should get to soon, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Bye!